going on? It is the Ace Michaels show. And I know from our perspective, we see a beautiful girl running through the wilderness being chased by a zombie thing. And she slips and she falls and she looks up and he's still there. He's even closer than he was before. And we think this is just easy. This is just what beautiful girls do in Hollywood, and anybody can do it. But no, we're wrong. This takes tenacity, this takes skill, talent, and vision to make this happen. So today on the show, I went out of the way to find a bona fide horror film scream queen to tell us all about it. Welcome to the show for the first time. Debra Lamb is with us. Woohoo!
Woo! Yay! Happy to be here, Ace.
So, Debra, tell us what it is. Like, is it the thing? Like, what is it?
What is it?
What is it?
I actually did do a film, like way, way back. I think it was early 90s called The American Scream. And I actually did. I was the girl running through the woods, tripping, falling, and getting caught by the killer. And it was, we shot it up in the mountains. I don't know if it was the Mount Shasta or the Big Bear Mountains. I'm not sure where exactly it was because it was a long time ago. But it was snowing and there was, snow everywhere. And I had to run through the snow in the forest at night in a negligee.
Of course.
In ballet slippers.
Of course.
Falling in the snow.
Yeah.
Oh, and in that one, oh, this is really hilarious. I was wrapped in, so I get knocked out by the killer, and then I wake up in the shower completely wrapped in saran wrap.
Nice. Who dreams these scripts up? You gotta wonder. I'm more concerned about the guys who are writing these scripts than I am about the sexual predators in the high positions of power. I'm more concerned about the guy who keeps writing this gratuitous college girls in the shower scene. You know what I'm saying? But
that was fun. That was fun.
But now, horror movies is not your only thing you do. Like, you do other kinds of movies and TV shows, too. I mean, you're an actress. You do the jobs, right?
Yes. I just happen to be known for the horror films I've done. Back in the 80s, the mid to late 80s and the early 90s when I was doing a lot of horror films, it was at the time when I first entered the scene, it was the time of the 80s VHS boom, where all these filmmakers like Fred Olen Ray and Gary Graver and Ross Hagen and those people and other people who at the same time were doing films who I actually haven't worked with, like Kevin Tenney and Jim Wynorski and all those kind of indie genre horror genre directors. They were all capitalizing on this new home rental, VHS home rental, Blockbuster and all those. And a lot of those films I found out later on actually were in the theaters. Like some of my films from early on in my career, like Beverly Hills Vamp, The Invisible Maniac, what's a couple of Evil Spirits and a few others. They actually were in the theaters, but I had no clue because this is before the internet. It's before computers, and I had absolutely no idea that these films that I was in were playing in the theaters. A lot of them, and drive-ins, and the drive-ins too. And I only found that out just a few years ago. So it's amazing. But yeah, I do other things. I'm going to be doing a television show called Jezebeth. I'm shooting that coming up in a couple of months. I'm a series regular on that.
Nice.
And I love sci-fi. I've done a lot of sci-fi, and dramatics. Dramatic pieces.
Sure.
So everything, everything. But the title from my earlier works of being a scream queen, and of course I love horror. So I'm still in horror films now. I mean, throughout the years I've done them, along with the other things that I do. But the Scream Queen title kind of stuck, and now people, I'm like known for that.
So do you have people who are fans who find you in the grocery store and they go, "Excuse me, weren't you the topless vampire in?" You know what I'm saying? Like, do they?
In Disciples, or yeah.
It's amazing, amazing.
I'll tell you what. If anybody ever stops me in the grocery store, recognizing me, I'll be like, "Yes, I made it."
Let's talk for a second, Debra, about the way films are made and distributed nowadays. Like now, there's a lot of people in the community, the actors and writers and producers community. They want to be on Netflix. They want to be on Crackle.
Yeah.
They want to be on Hulu. Does that help you work more now that there's so many, different streaming things going on? It's not just about in the movie or on the VHS?
Yes. It's a mixed bag. I hear from a lot of filmmaker friends of mine that it's difficult to sell films now. I think the day of distributors just buying up everything has kind of come to an end. They're being a little more picky now, but now we have streaming.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's good. It's better for a lot of things and worse for some things. So it's a constant learning curve of keeping up with the next big thing and how you're going to make money with the next popular viewing choices. I mean, now everything is binge watching. Binge watching the television shows on Netflix. I do it.
Yeah.
I'm binge watching Orange is the New Black right now.
Wow.
And Breaking Bad and all those. I'm kind of behind the times, so I'm trying to catch up here.
but isn't it more fun to just watch a show with no commercials? And if you want to, why wait till next Thursday? If you want to know what's going to happen, you just wait till 3 more minutes, and then bam, you're right back into the next episode, right?
Exactly. Especially if you're an insomniac. I can't even say it.
Right.
If you can't sleep
that's
at
how
night
much.
like me.
That's how little sleep you've gotten. You can't even say the word. You're so delirium from the sleep that you've lost.
Hilarious from being sleep deprived.
Exactly. So what about roles? Okay, so like let's say 10 years ago. Right? When I was watching TV 10 years ago or movies 10 years ago, there weren't that many roles for women. There were a lot of women in the films, but there weren't that many because you can only have so many maids, so many hookers, so many jilted housewives. That's it. You can only have so many of those, right? But now there's more roles. Like there's all of a sudden, to me anyway, being a man, it seems like there's all of a sudden there's more cops, females. There's more doctors, females. There's more helicopter pilots, females. Would you agree?
That is fantastic, and I know there's still, if you follow what the female actors and female directors are saying these days, is that it's still challenging, but it's so much better than it was, and. Like myself, in this TV show coming up, I play a deprived psychiatrist.
Nice.
So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I've played my share of hookers, and I've played my share of vampires.
Me too, girl.
But I want to see the movie that you're a hooker in.
A vampire hooker at that. Okay.
No. Okay. then, but recently, you know, not just recently. I've always done this also, but not too long ago, like last year or the year before, I played a captain of a police department, and I was another like detective, and so I'm playing a lot of those kind of authority figure roles.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and I really enjoy those.
So, what do you do to research a role? Like, how do you get into the role of a captain of a police department? Do you go hang out at the police department? Like, how do you get into your role? How do you research?
I actually did. I did go to the police department. I went a couple times. I was trying, and this is up in San Francisco. So I was going to the different, and now I was getting the runaround. I went to one police department in Chinatown because my one role was Captain Joyce. What was it? Captain Jane Royce in an award-winning web series called Gold Mountain,
Oh, wow.
which is set. Yeah, it's really cool. It's set in San Francisco, and it's about this area called Gold Mountain in Chinatown.
Nice.
And yeah, so I played a police captain, and so I went to the police department in Chinatown because I wanted to do a ride-along. So I was hanging out there for a while and chatting with a few of the officers, and then I waited and waited and waited, and I didn't hear back, so I kept calling, and then I was told, no, you have to go to this other police department. So I went to this other police department, and then it's like, oh, no, you have to call this certain department and go to this other place. So I did. I went to the other place, and I'm like, I want my damn ride-along.
Right, exactly. It's like, somebody give me a ride-along. Can a sister get a ride-along, please? That's
know.
crazy. So I only have time for like maybe one more or two more questions, but here's one that probably never gets old. It's probably the age-old actor question, which is, you're doing movies. Some of these movies have love scenes, kissing scenes. How do you manage that with the significant other? Do you still have to say, "No, honey, you know it's just a role. I'm just acting," or like, how do you work with that?
Well, that's funny because let me think. The only actual love scene I've done in a film was completely comedic. It was one of my very first films of my career called Rock and the Money Hungry Party Girls.
Nice.
And I was the lead party girl, of course.
Of course.
Thais. And so, you know, I'm after this guy who had broken up with his girlfriend. So, you know, I'm like a spy. So I'm trying to find these gold-plated nose hairs. Yes, you heard me right. Gold-plated nose hairs.
Wow.
So, you know, and I'm at his place, and then, you know, I'm trying to seduce him. So we have this love scene, but we actually had, you know, like I had my bra and G-string on, and he had his shorts on. So we're doing this ridiculous love scene where we're jumping around, and I'm like upside down, and we're doing handstands, and we're just, I mean, it was the funniest thing ever. It was really funny. And then the only other time, so for my fans out there who want to see something juicy, and who doesn't, right?
Right.
I mean,
who's going to say no? No, I don't want to see anything juicy.
Well, you know, I've had some juicy roles, but I think a lot of my fans will really like this one particular movie named the movie's Disciples, and it has a lot of the horror icons in it. Tony Todd, I actually killed Tony Todd. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
He had it coming.
Yeah. So Tony Todd and Brink Stevens is in it, and Linnea Quigley and Debbie Rochon and Camden Toy and Bill Moseley and of course yours truly. Nice. So I play. Okay, my role is actually a little complicated. I'm a vampire that is inhabited by a demon spirit. So I'm a vampire and a demon, and it's very complicated. But anyway, So you'll get to see me, gnaw on some chicks, and
Nice.
I mean,
Nice.
if you think some of the scenes in Orange is the New Black, is a little bit, sexy, well, you got to check this out, because there's boobage, rubbage, and lots
Wow.
of blood, and
It's happening.
lots of seducing, and yeah. And
Yeah.
then, of course, I tear people's heads off and bite them and kill them, and
Right on.
yeah.
It sounds fabulous. I got time for one more question, Deborah.
Oh,
So,
so to finish answering that question,
yes,
though, I actually haven't run into that problem.
interesting. Because
I know.
Because does that mean that the people that you're with are just understanding of your career? Because some people do have a big problem in their personal life with decisions that they make for their on-screen life. I mean, but you don't, or you haven't. We hope you don't.
Well, there was a period of time, not for the most part. I have had a very few, very, very long-term relationships.
Mm-hmm.
My first boyfriend, who I was with for 13 years, totally got it.
Mm-hmm.
My second relationship, who I ended up unfortunately marrying this person. Well, he turned out to be.
That's quite unfortunate.
He turned out to be psycho. So
Yes.
my career was pretty much non-existent while I was with that person. But then,
and this is coming from a person who plays psychos in movies. That's how psycho this person was.
yeah, exactly. I was taking notes. I was taking notes for my next psycho role.
Nice.
But then that person's like way long gone.
Yeah.
And then but I've been fortunate to be with people who are pretty much understanding. So it hasn't really been a problem for me, except for the psycho.
Right. And the psycho's always a problem no matter what. There's not much you can do about that. Let me ask you this one power question, Deborah, before I lose track of time. Now this is one. So there's a thing going on in Hollywood you may be aware of. It's called this Me Too movement, and the ladies are saying, look here, keep your damn hands not even that close to your pants. Keep them on the desk where I can see them, you son bitch. So that's a big deal. Now here's the question, though. Obviously this happens in Hollywood. We're not going to pretend it doesn't happen. We're not going to ask, do you think it happens? Of course it happens. But here's the question. If you have an opportunity, when you have an opportunity to work with a renowned director or producer who has this reputation that precedes them of being a sexual predator, sexual abuser, sexual curious, a little too friendly, would you still want to do the job, or would you step away from the job and go, you know what, I'm not even going to show up because I know this person's a handsy-pansy?
That is a very good question. I have been I've been very lucky that I haven't really had too much of that. I have dealt with it a little bit. In fact, I was just telling my girlfriend, was it yesterday or the day before, my story of this one producer who, this is back in the 90s, and he called me up on the phone. I had a boyfriend at the time. Mm-hmm. He called me up on the phone, and the conversation kind of started going like there, and I'm like, I said to him, I said, are you trying to have phone sex with me?
Oh no! Oh no!
He got all flustered, and he started like getting really like mad, and he was saying he just started, I don't know, just coming at me, you know, verbally over the phone. And then he literally said, and this is, I couldn't believe my ears. He literally said, if I told anybody that I would never work in this town again.
Uh-oh. Not that. Oh. Look out.
You know, of course, that guy wasn't, I mean, he wasn't,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly,
but,
right.
But I was laughing at him. I recorded it on my phone too. And I was laughing. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. That's the funniest thing.
Oh, man. I would love to give...
But to answer your question, that's a hard one. Somebody has a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, yeah, that all goes on, but there is two sides to every story. So if I thought, okay, you Ace, you're like, hey baby.
More like, hey baby. Yeah, exactly.
Hey baby. I'm gonna put you in this film.
Exactly.
You want to come over and stay at my house? I'd be like,
right.
You know what? You're gonna have to talk to my manager about that. See what he has to say. Yeah, that's a tough one. You know what? I just don't know. I mean, if it's Steven Spielberg, and I found out that Steven Spielberg sexually harassed women, but he wants me to be in his next film, I'd have to be like, you know what? Talk to my manager, and you guys work it out, and we'll see what happens. You know? But yeah, that's really tough because, gosh, what people do behind closed doors is like, you never know, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I tell you, so there's two things we learned from Debbie Lamb today. Debra Lamb says, number one, talk to her manager. Number two, if your phone sex game is so bad that I have to ask you, are you trying to have phone sex? That's probably not happening. How do we reach you on social media, Debra? We want to be fans now. We want to follow you. We want to support everything you're doing. Where do we go?
Okay. My website is thedebralamb.com.
Nice.
And for people who don't really know me, Debra is Debra, so I'm a Debra, not a Deborah.
That's right.
So Debra Lamb, Lamb, like the animal. So thedebralamb.com. On Twitter, it's thedebralamb.
Nice.
Guess what I am on Instagram?
I'm going to guess that it's something pertaining to Debra Lamb.
How about the Debra Lamb?
I can work with that.
So everything is the Debra Lamb. You can find me on Facebook. Guess what I'm under on Facebook?
I'm going to go for the Debra Lamb.
Well, this time it's just Debra Lamb.
Okay, see, that was maybe a trick question, maybe.
I know, that was a trick question. But I'm on YouTube, and I would love it if more, I have some subscribers. I don't really push it that much, but I would love for people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have some funny videos on there. I have my actor's reel that you saw.
Yes.
You saw my actor's reel.
Yes.
And where I'm ripping people's heads off.
Which is always good.
Oh, do you like my inline toilet paper and vodka?
They had it coming, yes.
Yeah, that's a good one, right?
Yes.
I get toilet paper and vodka.
Right.
But yeah, so I have some fun videos on there. I have some interview videos on there. I've got some Facebook Live videos that are funny on there. One of them's from my trip to London. I've been to London a few times to do films. So anyway, I'm everywhere.
And that is what's up. Hey man, it's Debra Lamb with Ace Michaels on the Ace Michaels Show today. Wonderful lady to talk to, beautiful lady to look at. And I'll tell you what, she's good at what she does, so support that. And you know what I say at the end of every show, and I mean it. If you can, live the life you love the life you live. Thank you.
Yay! Thank you, Ace! Mwah!